With Act 3 of Revenant this week, we got a great new exotic, Slayer's Fang. And I'm going to be bringing you a build for each class for it. First up is Warlock. Now I thought about a few different exotics to go with this, and it eventually landed on Nezarec's Sin, because this will give you great ability regen every time you get a void kill. We're getting that pretty constantly. Now if you're not familiar with Slayer's Fang, it is a shotgun that fires shrapnel rounds, and after your first kill with it, it will weaken enemies with those shrapnel shots and just spreads weaken all over the place. What makes it even better though is if you use Echo of Instability to get Volatile rounds, it's volatile everywhere because these rounds ricochet tons of times, they hit tons of enemies, just explosions as you can see here. It does great damage, it hits pretty hard, with the weaken it's doing great, it's just really solid. Pair that with great Void subclass, you have Devour, you have great supers, you have a super like Nova Warp, and it's just great. If you like this, let's get into the build. I'm Engineer. Slightly different today. I'm going to cover Slayer's Fang first before we get into the subclass itself. So, Slayer's Fang is a shotgun. Biggest thing about it is easy weaken if you can get a kill. It has several catalyst perks. You can see the full description of it and the catalyst perks in the snip from the Destiny Data Compendium here. My personal favorite for the Warlock is Repulsive Race, because that will give you Overshield every time you get a kill on a weaken or volatile enemy, which we're doing constantly. So pretty much unlimited Overshields and weaken all in this. And one thing I've seen reports of just today is that Void Breaches might trigger Nightsworn Sight as well instead of just kills. So it gives you another way to get the Nightsworn Sight and the weaken without having to necessarily get a kill, like say during a boss phase or something. Just keep a Void Breach nearby, and that's okay. The biggest weakness of this by far is the ammo economy. It is so easy to chew through ammo, so make sure you have a way to get some kind of ammo back. Like Special Finisher, Special Finder, maybe a teammate burning some ammo, whatever, just think about something. This is a craftable exotic like most exotic missions recently, so I've included what I currently have equipped on it over here. It feels pretty great, reload speed's great. When you reload it, it reloads all the rounds at once, so you have a lot of uptime, and just generally it feels really good. I'm enjoying it. Shotgun's got a lot of buffs with the start of this episode for PvE, so I'm feeling a lot better. As for other weapons, because I'm not going to talk about weapons later in the video, just use Void Heavy. We're going to be using some Void Surges. I'm going to be very into Void with this build, so just make sure your Heavy matches that. Use like a Void Machine Gun or a Grenade Launcher, whatever you feel fits the situation. Now, onto our exotic. I've picked Nezarec's Sin. As you see from the snip from the Destiny Data Compendium here, when you get a Void kill, you get Abyssal Extractors, and as long as that is active, you get plus 300% additional base grenade and melee regen rate, and you get plus 200% class ability and super regen rate, which is a lot. Just for getting void kills, which we're doing constantly, is any void kills. So your volatile explosions, your weapon kills, your ability kills, any of it. And it's a base game exotic, so anyone can get it. If you are focusing in or something, focus on resilience, discipline, strength, recovery, then intellect. Resilience and discipline are by far your most important thing. If for some reason you don't want to do this, Skull of Dire Hamkra or Mantle Battle Harmony are both really good. They will give you more super spam. If you Skull, you can get your Nova Bomb energy back on AoE kills with it, and Mantle Battle Harmony can also give you some weapon surges while your super's full. Those are pretty good. I just felt that this kind of fit the build better and really get the ability spam up on top of the cool new weapon. Moving over to our aspects and abilities, the first aspect is of course Feed the Void, because it gives us improved Devour. So we get a full heal every time we kill an enemy with Devour up. We will also get grenade energy back, and that depends on the tier of enemy you kill. And this is affected by flat gain factors. If you're not sure about that, check my video on that. Now, as for your second aspect, I recommend Chaos Accelerant. Your other option, Child of the Old Gods, is focused on weakening stuff, which we're already doing, so you don't necessarily need that. But Chaos Accelerant can empower grenades, and getting a grenade kill kicks off a lot of things. It procs the Devour, get your volatile rounds, so we want to keep doing that. What I recommend here, just skipping slightly ahead, is the Magnetic Grenade, because it has the highest flat gain factor for the Void Grenades at 75%, tied with Scatter Grenade, but when you charge it, you get the handheld Supernova. And one additional benefit of this is that when you have Chaos Accelerant equipped with Magnetic Grenade, you get a 15.5% grenade regen speed boost, which is just a nice little buff to get your grenade back even faster. This handheld Supernova is like a shotgun blast, so you're already be up close, and it also inflicts Volatile, which is another way to get that, so really solid, really good. You do have some options here, but I think that's the best one for this build. Now for your super, Nova Warp is really great with the roaming super benefits. It's going to come back really, really fast, and it hits pretty hard these days, but you can always use your Nova Bombs as well, especially for bosses, so feel free to swap that out. Your melee has to be Pocket Singularity. It's our only option. And then your class ability, pretty flexible. You have either the Rifts. I usually use Healing Rift though, just for team support and for in a pinch, need some extra heals when you can't get that Devour kill. Moving over to Fragments. So, mentioned this at the very bottom, but one of the biggest benefits I see for Slayer's Fang on Void subclasses is you get to ditch Echo of Undermining, which is the fragment that lets grenades weaken, and that fragment is very good, but it gives you a -20 to discipline, which is a humongous penalty. It's the largest in the game. I think it's very unreasonable, but with this shotgun weakening so much, you don't need it anymore. So we're going to take Echo of Instability. That's how we get volatile rounds after a grenade kill. We're going to take Echo of Harvest, which will make weaken enemy kills every 10 seconds, give us an Orb of Power and a Void Reach. We're going to take Echo of Persistence so we get longer Devour and Overshield just to stay buffed up, stay more survivable, be able to get between packs of enemies with those buffs. And then the last fragment is Cessation, and I think this is a little bit flexible. This is going to be really great with certain artifact perks that are available now, but our artifact's going to change in 4 weeks, so this may not be as viable. But Cessation will give you a Void Breach when you kill volatile enemies, which we'll do quite often here. So that's 2 sources of Void Breaches, which I think is really great. But if after the artifact perk is gone and you don't use Cessation anymore, some other good options are Echo of Reprisal, which will give you super energy whenever you get kills near enemies, which we do a lot. And there's also Echo of Starvation, which will reproc Devour every time you pick up an orb or a Void Breach. This is really good in like boss fights where you can't necessarily secure a kill to up your Devour even more, but just picking up an orb or picking up a Void Breach that you're making for however, and you get a full heal. Moving over to mods and armor stats, the mod setup is a little bit different. We're generally focused on weapon support and ammo. So we have that special finisher on the class item. We have weapon surges, but because those two are going to kind of fight each other, our weapon surges take your armor charges down over time, and special finisher takes 3 armor charges to give you special ammo. We are going to take charged up on the chest piece instead of one of our resist mods, and we're going to take stacks on the legs. So every 2 orbs, we're full up on armor charges. That lets you at 4 armor charges, do a special finisher, and still have 1 armor charge left. So you can keep that 17% weapon damage from the Void Weapon Surges going. Outside of that, we would just want to make orbs with grenades from our Firepower mod and use a Harmonic Siphon to make orbs up there. If you're using Nova Warp, I recommend Power Preservation because it'll make tons of orbs for your teammates. I was playing a Kills Fall last night, and I had Power Preservation on, and one of my teammates just walked over and was like, "Where did all these orbs come from?" And I'm like, "That was me." So it's really fun to use. Over on your stats, max out Resilience, max out Discipline, get as much recovery you can, and get Strength and Intellect to 30. That's it. Over on artifact perks, just a note again, we only have 4 weeks left of this episode, so after February 4th, this slide's invalid. We want to take all the Void perks. I've just highlighted them in purple here. All of them are either going to work with Void Breaches to give you something, or they're going to give you other ways of getting Devour, so they're just really good. The bottom right one is a new one that was just added this week, and it's really fun. When you get a Void Breach, you shoot an enemy, it makes a little portal from the sky that attacks enemies. It's really cool. None of these are game changing, none of these are completely changing the build, but if you're going in with this build, it's just really good synergy. We also have 2 other mods that are just generally beneficial here, and those are Thick of It and Curative Orbs. Thick of It will give you armor charges when you get multi-kills surrounded by enemies. Curative Orbs gives you an orb every time you break a shield, which is just really generally useful, so definitely recommend those. Everything else is pretty flexible. Don't sweat the artifact too much here. Now, just want to do a slightly longer gameplay clip. This is once again the opening of Tomb of Elders. It is a chaotic encounter with enemies from every direction, so nice for testing survivability. This is just normal difficulty, but it can kind of ramp up pretty quick. There's a lot of strong enemies, and this is very geared towards 3 players, so playing solo can be just a little bit tricky. See here, shotgunning enemies, just the volatile explosions all over the place. You're seeing a lot of orbs being made here, which is really cool, and that's the combination of Echo of Harvest and your Harmonic Siphon. Now, I mentioned it before, but the ammo economy on the shotgun is rough. It needs way more reserves than they gave it. So really just be watching out for those finishers. You see me swing one here, just to get a little bit more ammo. The finishers luckily give you a pretty good amount of ammo, about a full magazine. Just charge up those grenades periodically. You can see a strong enemy there. just about 2 shots almost kills it, and I probably was missing some of those shrapnel rounds, but still ended up getting it. Just crazy orbs. My grenade's up actually even faster than I was realizing when I was playing this. I could have used it a lot more, but it's great for focusing on stronger enemies like these Banes. It will send them flying, but it does keep them from kind of fighting back. Super is already up after just a little bit over a minute, so that's pretty solid too. If you're not aware, roaming supers are really great for survival as well. Most of them give very strong damage resistance, so take advantage of that. If you get into a pickle, just pop that and it will give you enough survivability, and then because you have Devour, you can just get a kill real quick and then you're back to full health. Now we are fighting the Hive here, which includes a Lucent Hive boss, which is pretty annoying to fight, but generally not too much threatened here because we're constantly getting those kills and getting some Overshield back. Just always trying to manage that ammo. You can see right here, this is a Lucent Hive popping its super. We're just standing in its face shotgunning it. Not really worried at all. Thanks to all the resistance we have. A few more enemies, down to just 4 shots on the shotgun, but we're pretty close to the end here. You can see that portal from the sky there. Finished him off. And we got our super again, which is pretty solid. But we forgot to finish the Lucent Hive guy. And that's pretty much it. Just going over that gameplay loop again. As you start the fight, charge your grenade to Supernova. If your grenade kills, you're going to get your Devour up. You'll also get Volatile rounds. And then you want to start using Slayer's Fang. 1 kill or picking up a Void Breach will trigger Nightsworn's Sight. That gives you your weakening shots. And then those are just going to ricochet everywhere. You're going to get Volatile on everything. And then all your Void kills will trigger the ability and super regen on your helmet. Just go to town. Just slay out. You'll have your abilities back faster than you can think. And then whenever you're at 4 armor charges and you have a finishable enemy, finish them for that ammo. And that's pretty much the whole loop. Use good heavy. I didn't even break out my heavy in any of that fight even. So you have a lot of room to do that on stronger enemies. But build's really strong. I've had a lot of fun with it. I was playing around with it a good bit with the new mission. So that's pretty much all I've got today. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you're thinking of the new shotgun. Hope you enjoy it. Want to make sure we have some builds to enjoy for these last few weeks, and hopefully we start hearing more about Heresy soon, so we can start playing for that. I should have some videos out for Hunter and Titan for Slayer's Fang as well, so look forward to those. But that's all I've got for you today. Thanks for the support, and thanks for watching all the videos, and I'll catch you in the next one.